a womanizer, a spree man, a bush hunk. When a woman gets divorced and she wants revenge through the child, he's a bastard, he's a scoundrel, he's a creep, and I feel like I'm the bad one. I would have sent her away, and I would have hit her too. You're an asshole, die and never be happy. Hi, my name is Vera Khopkoff, and you clicked on this video for a reason. And today I want to talk to you about a very, very important topic. When mom and dad talking to you about each other, well, for example, mom talking to you about your dad, saying something about him. Let me give you an example. When dad talks about mom and he wants to tell me some personal story that happened between them or is happening between them, he says to me, your mom. And mom, when she wants to tell me something about dad, what happened between them, how they talked in the car or in the kitchen, she says to me, your dad. And it's a horrible thing that makes us feel terrible. Because we are made up 100% of dad and mom, and the moment they start saying mean things about my dad or mean things about my mom, I hear mean things about me at that moment. And as we are made up of mom and dad, and I have both masculine and feminine energy in me, I don't share those qualities at that moment. And I feel like I'm the bad one. For example, I'll take a client right now. Imagine that his mom is talking to him and she says to him, your dad is a shitty person. For example, he's a shitty man. He's never taken care of us. He's a bad father. I want to congratulate you all right now that any father you have, he's a good father. And just because a woman has failed to build a relationship with a man doesn't mean he's a bad father. Because she couldn't build a relationship as a woman with a man, she didn't give him the opportunity to realize himself as a father. We have heard stories 1,000 times when a woman gets divorced and she wants revenge through the child. She doesn't let them see him or starts telling them how bad your daddy is, that he didn't love us, he didn't help us, he didn't take care of us. I'm going to tell you the story of one client right now. I knew both him and his mom. He kept telling me that he hadn't talked to his dad since he was 3 years old. And when I asked him why he hadn't talked to his dad since he was 3 years old, he said his dad was a horrible person. He's a bastard, he's a scoundrel, he's a creep. Of course, we realized that at 3 years old, he couldn't remember that. It's his mom's words. When I asked him what he was a bastard, a scoundrel, and a scoundrel about, he told me that when my mom was pregnant with him, they went to the registry office to divorce my dad. From the registry office she walked, and he left by car. It was pouring rain, hail, and she was pregnant walking in the rain. Of course, in his picture of the world, daddy is a bastard, a scoundrel. Then, when I got to know his mom, I talked to her, I saw that she was a woman with a very difficult character. She came to me with the theme that she was worried that her son, the womanizer, the philanderer, the boozer all the time, and she was worried that she would never have grandchildren and he would never get married. And I told her that if you want him to ever get married, stop saying mean things about his daddy, because what kind of man he was and what kind of father he was has nothing to do with him. And when I was talking to my client, I said to him, let's talk to you now from an adult position. Do you know your mom? He said, I do. I said, do you know your mom's character? He says, I know what my mom's character is. I say, do you know that if she's angry, she can say very offensive things? He says, I know. I say, well, now let's go back to when you were in your mom's belly and when they were getting divorced. Imagine them getting divorced, coming out of the registry office, and she says to him, you're an asshole, die and never be happy. Do you think he'd want to drive her at that point? He says to me, no, I would have done exactly the same thing. I'd send her away and I'd hit her too. I don't approve of that. I say to him, do you realize how great your dad is that he didn't send her away? He just got in the car and drove away. So what's my point? I'm saying that their parents, they're just ordinary people. They are men and women. They are just like most men and women who don't know how to build relationships with each other. Unfortunately, it's the children who suffer. So when your parents start saying your dad or your mom to you, I've got a cool little life hack. At that point, I look at my mom with those eyes and say, your husband? She says to me, no, I want to tell you about your dad. Then I say, my dad is only when it's about me. Then that man becomes my dad. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Write your stories. I remind you that you clicked on this video for a reason.